additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve minutes from last public business meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, gentlemen, we have a short agenda tonight. Item number 1 is Resolution 20-1. This authorizes fiscal year 21 transit grant, and we have Mr. Roy Cole.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is simply a resolution that's required to go into the grant application that funds our transit system, both the capital and operating for the year. It allows either the President of the Commission or the County Administrator to sign the necessary documents for the application.
Great, easy enough. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
Great. Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda, Mr. Butler.
Good evening, Commissioners. Item number 2 is the public notice for the public transportation grant application hearing. Item number 3 is the Allegany Trail Alliance Board appointment. Item number 4 is the acceptance of roads into the county road system. Item number 5 is the 2017 hazardous materials emergency preparedness extension acceptance.
Great. Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Wow.
Great, this was a short meeting. We do have 2 people signed up to speak. First is Mr. Kenneth Wilmot.
Good evening, I'm Kenneth Wilmot. I live at 513 Fort Avenue, Cumberland, Maryland. I'm the 11 piece of property on that street, so I pay my share of tax. Main reason I'm here is, what's going on at the animal shelter? There hasn't been any kind of information or meetings on the animal shelter in over 4 years. And we've been pouring money into that place, hand over fist. They claim they're rescuing animals. Well, if you want to see how they rescue animals, go right down here right now to the recycling center. Turn it, stop at the bottom of the hill, and look over there, the feeding site there. They've been feeding cats there. There's 5 of them. I saw them 2 weeks ago, and I just checked on it a while ago. And the mother cat looked like she was going to have another litter. I think they should be banned from not allowed to put out feeding pods or foster homes, what they call foster homes. They don't keep the cats, male and female, separate. Last time I got the shelter, cats everywhere. One sitting up on top of the dumpster, I guess he's looking for food, I don't know. Right? You can go out there and that's all you hear is dog barking. But anyway, that's your problem, not mine. But anyway, again, I got a nice hymn. I think you all got it in front of you. I'd like to read it. Of course, I hope nobody atheists here reject me reading the hymn. Anyway, title is Somebody Did a Golden Deed. Somebody did a golden deed, proving himself a friend in need. Somebody sang a cheerful song, brightening the sky the whole day long. Was that somebody you? Somebody thought it sweet to live, going when he said, I'm glad to give. Somebody fought a valiant fight, bravely he lived to shield the right. Was that somebody you? Somebody made a loving gift, cheerfully tried a load to lift. Somebody told the love of Christ, told him how his will was sacrificed. Was that somebody you? Somebody filled the days with light, constantly chased away the night. Somebody's worked for joy and peace. Surely his life shall never cease. Was that somebody new? Wouldn't it be nice if, it's like a domino effect, that if we, people would just practice every day a good deed, wouldn't it be nice? If, and another thing, if they would just practice a little courtesy out on the road, I would enjoy driving more. It's no fun for old folks to drive on the road today. People are so aggressive, it's unbelievable. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Hughes.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Mr. All right, next up, we have Mrs. Nancy Lawrence.
Okay, I am here to talk about wind turbines. And I have some other people who are here who are interested in the same topic and would like some answers, same as I would. And for the sake of time, I'm going to read. A few months ago, I believe it was before the three of you voted for the Dan's Mountain Wind Turbine project to proceed. I sent a letter to you describing how the turbines affect me.
Ma'am, I believe that was the zoning board, just for the record, that was the Board of Zoning Appeals that actually made the vote you just referenced, not the Board of County Commissioners.
But you need to hear this.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure we corrected.
I sent a letter to you all describing the how the turbines affect me. I was disappointed not even to hear from one of you. Not even an acknowledgement that I had written. I would like to ask you now, before you made the decision for the Dan's Mountain Turbines project, did you know it would be controversial?
I don't know, there was no decision made by us. Period. I can clear a lot of this up because I've been here since 2010. If the project 2-09 stopped them when they was 24, said if they fit the law, there's been no laws changed since. Before, there's been nothing that's been voted on by the county commissioners in conjunction with moving this project forward or recessing. The Board of Zoning Appeals and the courts got this. We have not made any formal nothing here.
None of you made this decision.
No.
I mean, it had no effect on it, it's in the courts right now, so.
The Court of Law's hearing this.
Can I speak?
Sure, please.
Talk to Mike. State your name. My name is Charlene St. Amand. I live in Bel Air at 15405 High Point Court, Southwest. The very last house whose driveway meets the dead end of Bel Air Drive. Very close to where the wind turbines will be. Now, I asked to speak to what you said, because you may not have voted, but you did appoint the zoning committee who did vote. And I have read several articles in Cumberland Times News where, Jake, you are quoted as approving and being for the turbine. So have you, Dave, and so have you, Creed. So how can you sit there? You can say you didn't vote. You can say whatever coined phrase you want to say, but you are approving this,
Well, we can.
and it's printed in the paper.
Hold on a second. Commissioner Brody and I can say this very easily, because when the zoning board ruled in 2015, we supported their decision. And not only that, the county spent almost $100,000 of your tax dollars to defend that decision all the way up to the Court of Special Appeals.
I was all
In-
for
in
that.
Annapolis, so-
You don't have to preach to me.
Well, I'm just telling you because that's what it is. And so the decision to rehear the case wasn't our decision.
I didn't say it was your decision. I
Okay.
never used that word.
So the court in Annapolis decided the previous zoning board in 2015, that ruling was, they needed to rule again, that the facts that they used to base their judgment, or Attorney Beeman can speak on this, Administrator Butler, anyone here, the facts that the previous board used did not hold up in court.
The zoning board.
That is
But the PSC down in Baltimore did not approve, and therefore you have brought it up again. And you're entitled to do that.
we have not brought this up again.
Oh, come on. You in wording, in newspaper print, you have approved this.
The zone, we haven't even approved anything, man. We haven't approved anything. The zoning board ruled, and we support, we support what the ruling was gonna be. When they denied it, we agreed with
Okay,
that,
then-
and now they support it, now we agree with it.
Okay, say I agree with you, fine.
Okay.
But how do you defend what you had printed in the paper? How do you defend that you are behind it? I mean, no matter how you argue with me, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not stupid either, and I am concerned. I will have to come another time and do this correctly. But I just wanted to all I want is for you to say, yes, it was in the paper. I was quoted in the paper. In fact, last week or 2 weeks ago after your meeting, you were going to look into a community meeting. Have you done anything? Have you? I mean, what are your plans? Anything?
Great, and Commissioner Brody lives closer than almost anyone.
I know where he lives, and I understand, and it was the same way back in 2015. And I don't really want to argue. This isn't a place to argue. I just wanted you to defend or say, yes, that's true. That's right, that was printed in the paper, and I did say that.
It was printed in the paper that we agree with the zoning board's decision. We agree with it.
And you agree that you want to collect the money, and it'll be good. The other thing that I can test, but I'm going to do my research on it, for you, Dave Caparelli, to have said, and you were quoted, that there is no loss to property value. How in the world can you honestly say?
I'll provide the statistics we had from
When?
Allegany County. When will I bring them?
When
I'll
will
produce
you
them
provide?
for the newspaper.
Pardon?
I'll produce them for the newspaper or at our next meeting. Well, we had several
What
elected
are your
officials.
sources for what you?
The finance office at Garrett County.
Finance, what about realtors, the realty companies? What about
That's who pulls
property?
the assessments.
It's regarding the assessments.
Well, there was something in the paper about assessments, I read that too.
Yeah, we do limit public comment to 5 minutes, so you can.
Oh, sure. And I said before, I will come back and be on the record the way it should be. But I appreciate at least that you listened and the time that you gave me, because I wasn't really signed in on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Mr. Dorsey.
Please.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, no, please.
I just want to thank you. Dominant human, we control what goes on this earth. We have completely forgotten about Mother Nature. There's thousands of birds that fly over that mountain almost every day. Now then, I would like to myself go up there and inspect how many dead birds and dead bats, lights attract bats. And then once a bird that only weighs an ounce and a half gets caught in that vortex, he's gone. He's hitting that blade, he's gone. And the one thing for sure, these companies have tried out to place gardens so nobody can get in and really make a nice view count. I think
Thank you, Mr. Wilmot. We should let Mrs. Lawrence
I
get
just-
her
You know,
remarks,
I'm a bird man.
please. Please, go ahead. Have a seat, and you can come on up after her.
If this,
Yeah, sure.
if this project goes in, do you realize you're going to have a lot more people on your case than just the members of Angkor? They are going to affect people in the Bel Air and Crescent Town areas, as well as on the other side of the mountain, Midland, and areas near Midland. They could affect both children and staff at 2 elementary schools, Bel Air and Crescent Town, along with schools in the Midland area. That could result in great distraction for both students and staff. I sincerely wish you could experience the sensation of the infrasound that I do. It's a continual noise, a humming, same pitch noise, hour after hour, day and night.
One second, we gotta keep it a little bit quiet in here, thank you. No, not you, continue.
There was
Continue.
just some
there was
side
some
conversations.
crosstalk going on, please.
Okay, so it's a continual noise, hour after hour, day after day, and night after night, continually, all the time, for as long as 6 days before a break. And then that break is usually only 3 days, and the whole thing starts again. There is nothing I can do that will block the sound out. If I'm inside, it's the same as when I'm outside. Earplugs do not work, sound machines do not work, and that is because there is not only infrasound, but vibrations as well that go through my head. I've lived in my house in LaVale for 37 years. It's been the last 5 years that a peaceful night's sleep has been interrupted, and I even have to take prescribed sleep medication now if I want to sleep. Here's the kicker. We don't even live close to turbines. The best that we can figure it out is that the noise from the Frostburg turbines travel down the corridor, I-68 to LaVale. We now find we're going to have to move to get away from this. I had hoped to stay in LaVale, but no, I can hear them all around LaVale. So now it looks like it's going to have to be somewhere north or east of Cumberland, only to wonder if more turbines will go up in the next vicinity. When I looked online this morning to determine where else in Maryland there are turbines, guess what? It said they are in Allegany and Garrett County. I found no other counties in all of Maryland that have them. And why is this? As an aside, years ago, Allegany County was only promised 1 prison. What happened with that? When in attendance at the last Angkor meeting in Frostburg, I learned there were people from Garrett County at that meeting that are not happy with the turbines there. I didn't read anything about that in the newspaper. The turbines are going to cause property values to go down. How many people have you heard say, oh, a turbine is going up, let's build next to it? Our property value might increase. Who would say that? I read in the newspaper that tourism in Garrett County has not been affected. Why is that? That's easy. Tourists come and then they go. They don't live there full-time to be affected by turbines. So that is a mute argument. I'm ending by asking why the citizens of the county could not have a vote on whether or not they would like turbines to be built. And now I would like to go back to the question I asked in the beginning. Did you all research both sides of the issue before you voted yes, or before you decided that you would back it? It's because of the dollar, isn't it? Isn't it because of the dollar? So I have
And you live in LaBelle, correct?
I do.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Please.
My name's Joey Dorsey, 15708 Winslow Street, corner of Maryland, southwest, up there in Bel Air. You mentioned that the zoning board okayed the variances. Did they have any meetings? Because during the 2015, there was a lot of discussion on the variances, and now you're going to have a bigger windmill, more horsepower, and there's been no testing or anything of that sort that they did before, and they just give them a free run because that's what the government wants and you want. You're going to get citizens going to get stuck with the bill in the end. And also I'd like to know, does the windmill still get subsidies from the state, federal people? Anybody know that? It did in 2015. So it's still living off subsidies, and then it's our tax dollars, and we're going to get hit in the end with when it's all over, because I don't know what kind of closure they're going to have on when these things die, 20 years from now, 30 years, and who's going to remove it? Are they going to take it down, the concrete? I don't know how many tons of concrete they use. I got it in the book, so anyway, it's a lot. And they're going to take it down. If it's 20 foot, they take it down 10 feet, so somebody can build a house and drill for water, and then we're going to do 10 more feet of concrete, if that's where they may get their sources from. Nobody even thought about that. So,
Well, sir, if I may, jump in on two things. One, yes, the Board of Zoning Appeals did meet. They did have a public hearing in this room. They came back subsequently and made their determinations. That is before the Circuit Court of Allegheny County right now. As to the decommissioning, and unfortunately there's a lot of things on social media right now about the decommissioning in both local law and the state law. There are requirements that these wind producers do have a decommissioning bond that must be included. That was both state law whenever Garrett County started looking into this, as well as I believe in the local law that is the public local law of Allegheny County. So yes, there are decommissioning. That was done by at the state level. That was done by Delegate Beitzel and Senator Edwards when the state was looking at these. That decommissioning was very much patterned after the same that natural gas, that coal producers are all required to do and have been doing over the many years. So yes, there is a reclamation or a decommissioning bond that is in place in order to take care of these things.
okay, if the turbine has mechanical problems and the manufacturer can't replace the bearings or whatever the problems are, because they had a problem with France and shut all, I forget what percentage of them down, because the company went out of business. So, is there a clause in there, if they're not running, they can't get them running in a certain amount of period of time, can they remove them? I mean, it's going to belong to them right now.
Right.
But
But if they abandon it, that would be, I believe, fodder for decommissioning again, just like the way that coal producers and natural gas producers have done in both Garrett and Allegheny counties over the years.
Right now, it won't bother me, but it will the younger generation coming up. It's going to come out of their pockets and come out of the county's pockets, where it's going to come from.
The sad part of that, Mr. Dorsey, is I live real close to them, and they don't bother me. I don't care if I don't like them, I won't look at them, because I'm an oil and gas and coal guy. We fought and fought and fought to try to drill here, because we're sitting on trillions of gallons of oil, and we can't touch it. Governor Hogan put into law, that by 2030, 70% of Maryland's energy was going to come from them. By 2040, 100% of Maryland's energy is going to come from them. regardless what this board says, anyone else says, the governor's already put that into law.
What happens if they don't make it?
They will make it, unfortunately, because I'm with you, believe me.
I just,
But, you know, when you get into the subsidies and stuff, every energy in this country is subsidized. Every,
Yeah.
gas, coal, and if you look at your electric bill and you see that perfect charge and all this and that, that's a subsidy, it's going directly to that power plant to subsidize their fuel use, regardless.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, and I've been accused of all kinds of stuff because I didn't stand up and pound my fist and said, I'm against it. I'm not against it because it really doesn't make any difference to me. But at the end of the day, I can tell you right now, the oil and gas under us would be worth 100 times more than if they would put windmills on every mountain in Allegany County. The other thing you got to remember, I was there in 2007 before I even ever run for office. And in my yard stand, and they come up and said, we're going to build up here. And then, of course, it was 2 years before that, Texas Eastern showed up and said, we're going to drill over here. And I'm like, I don't care. I got 3 acres there. I now own 10 because I bought my mom and dad's house years ago to help them out. As long as you're not on me, it don't make any difference what you do. I don't care. He's going through this, and I said, just by the way, how come you picked here? And he said, because we've been studying this for the last couple of years, and it's the windiest place in Allegany County. And I said, well, sure is, because I lose about 2 storm doors a winter. That's the thing, they don't build them where the wind don't blow, and they can't build them in a valley. If you put them in flat land, they don't produce. I'm not an expert on by a long shot. Since 2010, have had, I can almost say zero conversation with these people, period. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff out there being said that's just entirely not true. And since I know you, it really bothers me because I don't know where this is all going either, but the three of us, I said in 2010 I wouldn't be for them or I wouldn't be against them. And I've stayed true to this day to that. The only way to stop these would be the county to hurry up and put more laws in place to stop them, and then we would be in court, and I guarantee you we would lose that one, because when 2-09 was put in place, they put it in place and it stopped the 27 and 24 originally, because 3 of them was in LaVale zoning, so that popped it down to 24. When that law was put in place, that wiped them down to 17. And the zoning board, the commissioners, everyone said, well, if you can make that fit, because that's the law, make it fit. Well, they made it fit. And then here we are, so the zoning board ruled on something that actually probably wasn't factual. I don't know, I wasn't involved. The court remanded it back. We didn't remand it back. I mean, the sad thing about this is you can have, Allegany County's got 73,000 citizens. And they can all come in here and they can all sit and say we're not for it. But it doesn't change the law. And if we change the law on this right now, I guarantee you we'll get sued and get overruled. Period. I mean, that's that.
Well, big trouble is money talk.
There's not enough money
that.
here,
I don't care who they are or where they start. Money starts from big business. And it funnels us all the way down. And everybody got a cut. State got a cut. You guys got it. And a donation for
$500 is
Yeah.
what I got.
Yeah,
Which was reported as $1,000 and put all over social media. I got all the stuff where people was talking, saying that they bought my truck. I had, in 2014, when I ran for office, I ain't going to be backwards, I'll let everyone know. I thought I was going to have to get an attorney because there was all this stuff saying that they was paying my bills and stuff. And I thought, Christ, I work 2 jobs because I buy something new for myself. Someone's paying my bills. I thought that's slapped me and my wife directly in the face. I really took offense to that. But I sat here and I took it. And I took it, and I've been taken. But I have not done nothing wrong where I would be in jail, period. And if you look at donations, $500 in a campaign is nothing. I didn't ask for it, I didn't solicitate it, I did nothing. They just sent it.
well, you can see the system, the way our government's working anymore. Money controls everything. And the little people on our level are just shoved out on the side. That's all, you know.
I think if you would talk to the people that actually have, and the windmills on their property would say the same exact thing. How is someone that doesn't own the property or live close to them controlling me making anything to do with my property? there's two sides to every
Right,
story.
and that's our issue, and it gets so muddy. The 2-09 said 2,000 feet was the setback. They have everyone within 2,000 feet to agree to this. And that's what was written, that's what everyone agreed to back many, many years ago. And now all of a sudden, well, 2,000 feet, I guess, isn't enough. Should it be a mile? Should it be everyone within 2 miles? There's no good way to do it. I know that the county has windmills within 750 feet of Allegheny County. They're around us on 3 sides.
And are they in, where the homes are built, people
Yes.
living, around the field out here,
Yes.
in the mountains where nobody's there? The laws are close to schools.
Mount Savage
And
has got
people.
probably closer than anybody does.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this, because, you know, Commissioner Caparelli grew up in Bel Air and still has family in Bel Air, and Commissioner Brody's near him, and I live in Cumberland, but look, the 3 of us care about this community, and we would not do anything that we thought would be detrimental to the future of this community or to the home values of so many citizens or anything like that, because it hasn't happened in Garrett County, it hasn't happened in Mineral County, and it hasn't happened in Somerset County. And it's not anecdotal, some person said this, it's as a whole, they have not caused any loss of revenue whatsoever. Garrett County gets $4 million a year. So when we're talking about how are we gonna balance our budget this year, how are we gonna pay for all these mandates coming out of Annapolis, we don't have the Verso mill, we have to do something. And you have a project here that's $110 million. If you asked all 3 of us, we probably don't like windmills. I've never even talked to Dave about it, but it's not a kind of energy that I would promote. But guess what? It's a legal form of commerce and energy in the United States and the state of Maryland. And it's hard for us to go against what's been ruled. And that's kind of what me and Commissioner Brody decided way back, was we are gonna stand by whatever the zoning board says. If they say they legally can do them, then that's the decision we're gonna make. And whether they went against it and now they went for it, that's
I thought it was dumb.
that's kind of how it is.
Did they change any regulations on that?
No,
No?
no, the regulations are exactly the same as they've been since 2009, since
Yeah, since they're the 3rd series of Board of zoning board people.
Now, the zoning board people, they all changed since then. 2 of them had been on since 1991, 1994. And then we put someone else on who then recused himself, and then someone else recused himself. And so, you know, the 3 people we put on, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, we had no idea how that vote was gonna come out. None
Well,
whatsoever.
find out where they worked before and who they worked for. It's all money, so that's all I have, so, we'll be back, so.
You're welcome to. I mean, the 3 people we put on there, Brian Alderton, who teaches for the Allegheny County Public Schools, Ben Walters, who was a former airline pilot, and Dale Dickerhoff, who's a retired law enforcement officer. I put them beyond reproach. If you would go and talk to them, I would trust them to make whatever decision either way. And if they would have ruled against them, we'd be doing the exact same thing. We would be standing with the zoning board, as we did last time and as we're doing now. So, thank you for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Dorsey.
Okay. Mr. Beaman?
Nothing.
Mr. Butler?
I have nothing.
Mr. Caparella?
I just want to add a quick note for the record regarding an editorial that was in the newspaper last week. Economic development will be about all of the county. It's never been thought of or implied in any way that it would be any different. I don't want to argue every article or everything that's put out in print, but I felt strongly about conveying this message to citizens and elected officials out there, contrary to last week's editorial. No one will be left out of the future of Allegheny County with this endeavor. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dave. Mr. Brody?
Well, sir, I'm going to change gears in a completely different direction here for little bit over a project that the Allegheny County has been working on, especially Paul Kale and the Department of Public Works now for about a year and a half. And I want to say, coming back from Pace, we did spectacular down there again for getting a lot of our projects funded. We got some real good partners down there. One in particular, I'm going to talk about the Locust Grove Pumping Station and the new force main into Cumberland. MDE has stepped right up to the plate with 87.5% funding on probably a $32 million job, which means there's going to be like $26 million of grant money coming in. We got the project, should be out to bid maybe, Paul, June, July.
Right.
Now here's the hiccup and here's the rub. Where it's situated is in Locust Grove. The equipment needed to do this job is going to be big, and the reason I tell you this is it's not accessible by the Locust Grove Bridge. So we need to be able to unload and just take it across Wills Creek. We was denied and told no by the other half of the entity, which is MDE. We got MDE funding the job, and the regulatory side of MDE trying to stop the job. So this has been a fight from the word go. We got one half trying to help us, and remember, we're in a consent decree that we was ordered by the federal government to have a lot of this stuff done by 2023. So we're getting 2 pumping stations, putting 1 new station in. What we got there now is very antiquated. I have reached out to the Army Corps and trying to override MDE because that's who their authority comes to. I should have an answer by the mid next week. If I can't get an answer, or this prolongs, I am going to ask one of you gentlemen for a second at our next motion to stop the project, because right now Paul has probably got, I am going to say, bare minimum $200,000 of county people's time, plus we got additional monies into this project, and we're getting to the point where we got to dig a big hole, and if we can't get the equipment in there to dig the hole, I don't want the county to take the money and have to start repayment on the money for a station that we can never build because we can't take a piece of equipment across the stream. And that's it in a nutshell. So with that being said, sir, I'll keep you informed. That's where I stand. Mr. Fretwell, the good side of MDE, is on his way up to Allegheny County here. Hopefully in the next week or so, he's going to try to help us out all he can. They have been absolutely phenomenal and fantastic. At the regulatory side, we fight to get everything done. They stop to get anything done. And I've always told you, gotta play the game, gotta listen, gotta do what they want, and well, I'm telling you, I've had enough of it.
Why didn't you just let the creek little ways and just drive the dirty stuff?
Well, because they're telling us we're not allowed to do that,
Oh, my goodness.
so, we already got the spot, the water's this deep,
Yeah.
Can't do
All you have to do is pour in some gravel and drive it across.
don't even have to do that.
I got one question about, out there across from Woodmore, that, housing development.
Yes, from the face.
Is there anything going on with that?
Yes, there was an announcement made 2 weeks ago, I think, yes.
Yes.
Brandon?
Yeah, so in partnership with Lyons Manor, the established nursing home facility, they are partnering with the developers to have a state-of-the-art, what is a continuing care retirement facility as a large part of the development that's going to be in Cumberland Chase. So the developers are moving full steam ahead. They've been working with a number of both local firms as well as some architectural firms that are into this space, and the county and their staff. We've been working very closely with them.
It's also independent living.
Correct. Yes, it's nursing home, independent, and senior living. Yes.
And it'll be single-family houses too.
And single-family houses. So that is an amazing, amazing venture for both the developers and for Allegheny County's future.
Sir, I hate to do this, but for some reason, I apologize to everyone here, but my wife has called me 3 times right in a row in the middle of a meeting. She has not done this in 9 years I've been here. Let me see what.
Pick up the pizza? Pick up the pizza?
She never, ever calls me Thursday night.
You're in trouble.
I hope, well, I just hope nothing's wrong.
All right. We started our budget process today. Hopefully,
once again, it's gonna be a tight budget. The big thing coming down for us is gonna be the Kerwin, education funding. There will be a cost to the county, so reports that it wasn't gonna cost us anything is not true. Just that is gonna be probably at least $300,000 to $800,000 increase, per year that we'll have to fund above what we normally fund in education. So, last year it went up by $300,000. This year, it's gonna be at least $600,000, probably more than that. So a big boost to education spending. And we're gonna do the same thing we do every year. We don't want that increase to come out of your pockets. We wanna figure out ways that the county's gonna pay for it. So, that's kind of why we're doing everything we can to keep costs down. We're one of the few local governments who hasn't raised taxes, throughout this whole time since the recession, certainly the last couple of years, and we're gonna continue doing that. So, stay tuned with that. We do have 2 budget hearings planned that'll be public, for outside groups in March, and then there'll be, some readings of the budget here in the spring. So, with that, our next public business meeting will be in 2 weeks. It'll be Thursday, February 13th at 5 o'clock. See you then.